Hello, and welcome to HiveMind Network's webinar series on the Omnichannel Challenge. I'm Paul Zagieski, Managing Partner at HiveMind Network. With us today are three leading experts in retailing, e-commerce, and supply chain business solutions. Each heads up their own professional services firm, and each is an expert practitioner in the HiveMind Network. Bill Mirabito is CEO of B2C Partners, a consultancy dedicated to delivering a complete portfolio of retailing business solutions to some of the largest companies in the industry. Nikki Baird is Managing Partner of Retail Systems Research and is a nationally known thought leader in retailing. Nikki provides insights on market trends, success stories, and opportunities for innovation in the future of retailing. She's a sought-after speaker at conferences and provides strategic advice to senior executives in all parts of the retailing industry. Sandy Vosk is founder and president of Advantage Technology Solutions, ATS, which specializes in business intelligence and supply chain solutions with particular focus on adding value through innovative technologies in manufacturing, retailing, logistics, and related industries. Today's guest presenter is Joe Radomski, Vice President at iTix Solutions. We're very pleased to be bringing you these experts to share insights on the Omnichannel Challenge. Before we begin this session, a word about HiveMind Network. HiveMind is a values-based expert network. Each expert practitioner member is a top independent provider of expertise in their field. HiveMind provides a range of services to meet client needs just in time. These include market insight, expert advice, coaching to improve performance, and hands-on solution delivery to augment a client company's resources. One contract with HiveMind Network makes all this expertise available as needed. HiveMind experts are committed to shared values of collaboration and client satisfaction, making us unique in the professional services industry. There'll be more about HiveMind later on. Now, I'd like to turn the mic over to Bill Mirabito to introduce us to Omnichannel, the age of the customer.
Thanks, Paul. In our last session, Sandy helped define Omnichannel as a consistent consumer shopping experience anytime and anywhere. Sandy also talked briefly about the age of the customer and the need for retailers and suppliers to collaborate on the consumer's behalf, which he'll talk about more in a moment. Then Sandy introduced Nikki, who discussed how many organizations run astray of Omnichannel by getting lost in the minutia, bogging down in organizational quagmire, or applying a thin coat of digital clutter to tired old shopping experiences. And they do this without the consumer always in mind. Nikki stressed the importance of being consumer-centric at every point of contact in the shopping journey. Paul, you want to go to the next slide? Great. You've heard it often repeated that the prevalence of mobile devices has created a world of digital natives. Natives for whom time and space are less of a constraint than ever before. Whether they're in the bedroom, in the car, at the gym, in the workplace, at dinner, at prime time, in the restroom, in a queue, on the road, no matter where they are, there are very few things that a digital native does where a mobile device isn't within reach. And when that device is in reach, product information, customer data, and merchandise availability are never more than a few taps away. Or at least that's what is expected. Consumers expect this, and retailers rely heavily on their supply chain partners to enable much of this. Paula, can you advance, please? Great. Today, we want to reinforce the importance of manufacturers in the omnichannel equation. Many people mistakenly think of omnichannel as simply ship from store and pick up in store. But in fact, it's not about the retail store at all. It's about connecting consumers with the brands they love and the products they seek and the service that they need at any time from anywhere. And the supplier can't neglect this responsibility because it's an important responsibility, and if they neglect it, they jeopardize their relationship with important retail accounts. In our practice at B2C Partners, we primarily service traditional retailers who sell online, but an increasing number of our clients are now brand manufacturers who are reaching out direct to consumer. And these brands hire us to help them develop omni-channel strategies and build out programs that serve consumer needs and deepen their connection with retail partners. Today's consumer expects something more. They expect richer product information. They expect a greater range of merchandise assortment. They expect levels of service that help them with their product purchase decision and in the moment and bring them back for more. Do you realize that for manufacturers, there are so many distinct points of distribution? One channel might be big box department stores. Another might be specialty retailers. Another might be factory outlets. Another might be independent boutiques or foreign licensees. Other channels might include pure play online storefronts like Wayfair and Rue La La, or affiliates who market for commission. And online marketplaces like eBay and Amazon. And other sales channels for the manufacturer could include a televised shopping network like QVC, or a direct-to-home catalog, or the brand's own web domain, or a mobile app. And that's just a dozen of the countless sales channels, in other words, omni-channels, that are available for brand manufacturers to connect with the consumer. So how do manufacturers pull it all together and make those connection points seamless? Sandy Vosk is going to share more about omnichannel and its impact on manufacturers. And then Joe Radomski is going to share examples of technology enablers in the supply chain. So with that, Sandy, take it away.
Thank you so much. Let me just take a moment and grab the screen. That was such an unbelievable segue, and I can't thank Bill enough for positioning the groundwork for the exciting age that we live in. And in the brief time that I have with you today, what I wanted to do is just share a little bit about the impact of what I call supply chain strain associated with omnichannel. Picking up exactly on what Bill just shared, share some statistics related to the growth of mobile sales, talk specifically about the Amazon effect, and what that impact is, not merely to manufacturers, but suppliers, distribution, logistics, wherever folks are in the supply chain or now value chain to customers. And then we'll talk a little bit about technology enablers, and especially Joe Radomski, a friend and colleague, will talk about iTix with some specific examples of how that can be applied.
Sandy, hold on one second. Just want to double check and be sure that you're actually sharing out your screen.
Let me check. Thank you. Nope.
It's okay.
Is that better?
We got it now. Thank you, pal.
Thank you, Paul. So in terms of mobile sales, first, to get a sense of what Bill shared, there are currently over 1 billion smartphone users on the planet, and they're changing the shopping experience in powerful ways. Global consumers are not merely just increasing their use of mobile telephones, they're doing so via smarter devices, whether they be smartphones, tablets, hybrid devices, watches, etc., etc. According to recent research tapping into mobile e-commerce 2014, the projections for smartphone spending will more than double and tablet spending more than quadruple in the next 2 years. A tsunami of change is upon us. due to the ever-increasing pace of technological change and the fact that all of the information in the world is doubling faster and faster every year. It's my belief that we're at a tipping point, and the large majority of companies throughout the supply chain industry are not ready to deal with it. It's truly the age of the customer, and Sam Walton got this a long time ago, but think about what Bill just shared about all the channels and what folks can do at their fingertips. 48% of them are researching on the web before ever coming to a store. 41% are buying somewhere else. 71% expect to be able not just to view the product online, but to view it with much greater details, of which Bill will get into next time. 75% expect free shipping. 56% expect to buy online, pick it up on the store, and almost 50 want it in the store and shipped to their home. It's changing, and it's all about what they desire. But the bottom line is a consumer spends 75% more when they combine their retail and mobile experience. And the retail industry has its challenges, as they were built to fit a store, not a customer. The majority today are running on legacy systems, relational databases, and spreadsheets. And a lot of that information, and Nikki's done a great deal of research in this regard, is erroneous. Now, there's increased interest among traditional retailers in developing an omni-channel strategy to compete with Amazon, but honestly, only a very small percentage done today. They appear stuck like a deer in headlights, and they're not the only ones. I had a line that I've used for years and years. It's not just applicable, but it's extremely applicable to the supply chain, that you're only as strong as your weakest link. And manufacturers and suppliers today must plan adequate time, not merely for production, but if their products, for example, are coming from Asia, this includes 40 days on the water, plus, how many days to unload and ship. And, we're experiencing challenges in that. New ships from China, which can carry 19,000 standard-sized 20-foot containers, which are known in the industry as TEUs. That's fantastic, but due to a combination of factors, this has already caused significant delays at the U.S. ports. The West, which are ready to receive them, and the East, which are waiting for the Panama Canal to be enlarged to receive them. But labor strikes, trailer management challenges cause significant delays, and management and suppliers need to build those into their plans. A recent labor strike on the West Coast had major impact to retailers concerned about having product on the shelves for the spring. And then along comes the Amazon effect. I love these graphics, which I pulled out. And Amazon is the gorilla in this space. They get personalization, they get digital sales. First quarter sales are up 15% to $22.7 billion. An Amazon effect is used to describe the impact of increasing consumer expectations as to how and where they purchase, receive, and return merchandise. This has changed drastically. Amazon is no longer just a book company. They sell computers, office, electronics, home and garden, groceries, health and beauty, sports, shoes, etc., etc. And now, with Amazon Prime, in terms of affecting consumer expectations, with a $99 fee, it's free 2-day shipping on any item without a minimum order balance. Otherwise, it would have been a $35 minimum purchase. Now, get this. On average, Amazon Prime customers buy twice as much merchandise per year as do other customers. They've recently introduced Prime Now, an app for both Apple and Android devices that promises delivery of select goods from Amazon within 1 hour. That's in Manhattan alone today, and the goods are mostly groceries, toiletries, and small gifts, but the precedent is astounding. Many companies use 3PLs as their primary conduit, third-party logistics providers, to serve not just the storage of inventory, but the management, shipping of inventory, in many cases, even the electronic transfer of information. But Omnichannel is a paradigm shift for order fulfillment, whether it's orders, shipments, payments, and returns. there's a strong need, not just in retail, but within the supply chain community, to improve core systems, accounting/ERP, warehouse management, transportation management, and they must have the ability to scan inventory dock to dock and exchange information electronically in advance before the products usually arrive at the door. There's a huge distinction between B2B and B2C in the age of the customer. And, you know, B2B, the old models, was really about delivering pallets and cases to the distribution centers, which fed the retail outlets. And today, today it's about managing individual units, eaches. Order profiles are significantly different, with a high number of lines and quantity per order for B2B versus an average of a little more than one line with single quantities for B2C. Thousands of bulk orders versus millions of individual orders. And definitely a need for sophisticated packing and labeling stations. And the big thing that's changed, thanks to Amazon and Zappos, is managing returns. Not only is it the age of free shipping, but it's the age of free returns. I'll just get 5 products, 5 dresses, 5 pants, 5 shoes, try them on and return those that I don't like, free of charge. Beyond that, Amazon is now jumping into fulfillment. And they're investing in this in a significant way where the third-party logistics industry is concerned about it. If you examine the distribution network they've developed, the services it provides that sell their products through Amazon, and their recent acquisitions, then it's logical to raise the question as they really are one. One of these acquisitions is Kiva, which designs robots, software, workstations, other hardware that has been used in distribution facilities, companies such as Staples, Office Depot, and The Gap. So they're serious players, and their services are considered game-changing by several CEO executives that were quoted in a recent Council of Supply Chain Management professional article. Many of them are actually working with Amazon. Amazon's one of their customers, where they're providing distribution, value-added warehousing, transportation services. But 3PLs know that they need to develop new short and long-term plans to support the omnichannel world of both retailers and business-to-consumer, business-to-business solutions. Amazon is collaborating with many of them and actually have their staff on site to help them do so. To me, everything's about collaboration in the world we live in. You know, retailers and suppliers, manufacturer suppliers. You know, retailers seek an endless aisle now of merchandise which is not contained to in-store purchasing. Whether it's bought online or whatever, the goal is to reach your customers and have them engage with you and buy. But it now raises questions such as which items should be sold in brick and mortar stores, which will only be sold online, and which in multiple channels. Those that Bill mentioned before, just as an example. Planning far more complicated because of the online and mobile requirements for significantly more attributes to be shared. This not only includes item details, price, digital images, video clips, customer ratings, what customers are seeking today. And if you look at the top websites, you'll see those in play. It requires systems of intelligence, which is a term I heard Geoffrey Moore use a couple of weeks ago. And one strategy to compete with Amazon is for retail and supplier communities to collaborate, sharing real-time inventory and item information, as well as key business metrics concerning sell-through demand and fulfillment of orders. The benefits of this are huge. Avoiding stockouts, excess inventory, customer returns, driving in-store sales, more strategic buyer-selling relationships, predictive analysis of shortage, overage projections. You help buyers merchandise, deliver more accurate forecasts, improve planning, optimize inventory levels, better financial forecasts, and even better information for the introduction of new products. As Bill said before, omnichannel refers to a consistent consumer shopping experience, whether it's a PC, tablet, smartphone, or wearable device. Today's customer journey and order process can start in any one channel and proceed through multiple others, such as social media, email, and/or phone. How can you support them? To share more how one technology is addressing this, it's my sincere pleasure to introduce my friend and colleague, Joe Radomski, Vice President of iTix Solutions. To give you a high-level summary, iTix analyzes and processes interactions across a variety of channels: email, paper, mail documents, internet, and social media. They also use artificial intelligence to analyze, capture, and improve the quality and response to interactions. And the bottom line is that their solutions automate processes that can save companies significant time and money while simultaneously improving customer acquisition, retention, and profit. So it's my sincere pleasure to now turn it over to Joe Radomski.
Thank you, Sandy. As Sandy said, my name is Joe Radomski, and I appreciate the opportunity to share what we're doing with some of our customers today. iTix, just a little bit of background, is a German-based software company. We've been in business for about 20 years. We have over 200 customers. Many of them are brands that you know. There are people like FedEx, BMW, IKEA, and Samsung. Our heritage is in computer linguistics and artificial intelligence, as Sandy had mentioned. I'd like to talk to you just a little bit about what some of our customers are doing. We'll focus in on one specific global consumer electronics manufacturer as our case study. But first, just a little bit of background in terms of some of the things that we're seeing that are taking place in the marketplace. This idea of increased mobility because of the growth of smartphones is really changing the nature of the customer experience. It's actually driven businesses to have to create new processes to accommodate these newer channels of communication with their customers, and kind of surrounding all that, and kind of the most important thing is giving the consumer the ability to communicate with the organization in the way that they want. Obviously, mobile applications and web self-service are two of the things that are really driving this. And a lot of times it depends upon the type of interaction that the customer has with the organization will dictate the channel that they utilize. You know, relationships between companies and consumers can be fraught with misunderstandings. And if we ask the customers which touch points they prefer to resolve matters, they might indicate a variety of different channels. Traditionally, the only channel open to them has been that of voice. And what we're seeing in centers that offer a variety of channels, that voice becomes a lot less important, and these other channels, the alternate media channels, are becoming more and more important, with web and email and SMS kind of leading that right now. Consumers more likely to use a mobile app for a purchase to start the process, and more likely to use a different channel such as email to resolve a complaint or check on the status of something. These text-based touch points are becoming much more important as we move forward. Deloitte generated a survey about 1.5 years ago called the Global Contact Center Report, and identified that email was the fastest growing alternative path. So that's put customer centers into a situation where they need to be mindful of communicating with the customer. 3/4 of all these processes that are typically been taken over the phone, or as you can see, shifting. But when multiple channels are available, they're going to pick email, chat, and web as the mode in there. In order to support a full and effective omni-channel strategy, the customer-centric enterprises are going to embrace these multiple channels of communication and provide access through multiple devices. So you may encounter things as your customers, as you take a look at your customer base, you may find multifunction printers, scanners are a way in for customer. You may receive a large number of orders from tablets and smartphones and other kinds of mobile devices. You may have external service providers feeding and taking phone calls from your customers for you. So there's a variety of different kinds of things that you see coming in. It's important to be able to integrate those channels with the business process and with the back office environments, so that you have the best opportunity to serve the customer and give them what they need. The other thing that we've found is that many centers, many customer centers, service centers, contact centers, whatever you call them in your business, perform multiple functions. They just don't take orders. They process address changes. They update requests. They take service requests. They take information requests. They create trouble tickets for existing products. They manage warranty claims and things like that. And it's important that the service center be mindful of the entire customer experience from start to finish. So what are some of the things that we've done to help customers get a handle on the multi-channel, on the omni-channel, the multi-channel? As you can see over here, we've got a variety of different types of inputs that might come into that organization. And we'll capture that. We'll do an analysis of that information and begin to insert it in a business process. If you think about it, about 80% of all the information that comes into a customer center is unstructured, which means that it's not on a form. And it means that the customer's written it in some way, whether it's on a fax, a letter, an email, a chat message, a social media posting, something like that. And traditionally, in order to understand what's in that interaction, you have to have people around to take a look at it and read it, because you need that contextual understanding that the individual provides to do that. Before you can assign a priority and decide how to handle one of these interactions, it's important that you classify it and understand the nature of the request. So what our software does is it can classify those requests into different buckets: service requests, address changes, new orders, updates on existing orders, trouble tickets, requests for help, those kinds of things. You can then extract information from those interactions, such as a customer account number or an order number. You can utilize that information to check the CRM system to find out about the relationship that you have with that customer. In the case of an order number, you can check the ERP system to find out where that order might be in the process. And then you can utilize that information to help the worker in the business respond to the request from the customer. One nice thing is that you can rationalize the information across all of the workers in the business and utilize suggested responses so that you have a consistent, controllable message when you communicate with your customers. So routine requests such as feature questions, address changes, store location and hours, perhaps product information requests, those can in some cases be automated so that it does not require the attention of an individual. So I could, for example, send an email to my smartphone company, ask them for a data note on how to configure my smartphone to do wireless printing on my wireless print device in my home, and they could send me a product brief back explaining how to do that with my particular model of phone. Satisfied the customer request, haven't invoked the need to request one of the agents in the business to do something. I'm reserving those agents for more complicated and complex tasks, maybe something like a cross-sell or an upsell. So this is a real live example of a global consumer electronics company that we've been working with for quite some time. As you can see, this organization has embraced almost every possible channel of communication that you can imagine. I read a study from Gartner about 3 months ago that said there are as many as 13 different potential channels of communication that a business might have with their customer community. This particular company is utilizing 7 of those. So they have a pretty well-rounded environment. Pardon me, what happens in this business is the first thing that takes place is all the interactions come into one place. They're analyzed by the software and prioritized according to the type of request, the priority of the request, and perhaps some skill that might be required to respond to that interaction. So for example, language. We're able to identify language ahead of time and flag that so that if someone has a question about XYZ product and it needs to be responded to in French, we make sure that the right resources in the organization are paying attention to that request. So in order to process that variety of communication methods, it's important that you integrate your back office environments, such as information in your data warehouse, information from your CRM system, from your order entry environment, your ERP system. You integrate that with the requests, with the skills of the agent, and with the business process. So kind of walking through step by step, we classify, for example, say it's an email. We'll classify that email as a request for information about my existing order. So I will classify that. I'll extract the order number from that email. I'll send it to the ERP system. I'll request information from the ERP system about the status of the order. I'll populate that back into this work item, enriching it in the process, and then send it to the appropriate place in the business process. So for example, if I have a high confidence that that information that I pulled from the ERP system is accurate, I may automatically respond to the customer and say, it's in transit, here's your tracking number. You can use this tracking number to check and see when the item will be delivered. Or if I happen to notice that this person that sent the email is an existing customer, they've been a platinum customer of ours for a long time, and I may want to consider some additional services that they qualify by virtue of the fact that they're a platinum customer. I can then enrich that process, send that to an agent where they have access to additional information about promotional promotional opportunities and things that might be of interest to that customer. This agent is expert in providing a cross-sell and an upsell, and they're able to facilitate an increase in the business that the company does with that particular customer. It's important to keep in mind that the system has the ability to utilize not only the information inside the business, but also information outside the organization, such as independent forums that are not maintained by the company, information on Google, Wikipedia, whatever resource you might want to consider to help assist with processing that interaction is available and can be populated in the business process to assist the agent and respond effectively to your customer. So kind of to drill a little bit deeper, just to kind of show in detail how that classification, extraction, and enrichment process works, we'll take our delivery request again. So someone sent some kind of message to the business requesting information on the delivery of their S4. So we'll pull that information, we'll classify it as a delivery request. We'll pull appropriate information out of the document. Amanda Smith, customer number 123456778. We'll go and look inside the various back office environments that are appropriate for that kind of interaction. And we'll review her, pull her case number. We'll attempt to we'll say she qualifies for an upsell to another product. And we'll provide text suggestions to the agent to assist them in processing that request. And we have the ability, as I had mentioned before, to either automate that process, send it to a first level agent, or send it to an expert, depending upon how you want to handle that interaction and most effectively respond to that customer. So that's a quick overview of what we're doing with this consumer electronics company. Appreciate your time and attention, and Paul, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you very much. And we have a few minutes for Q&A. We have several questions queued up. I'll turn the first one over to, or send the first one to Sandy. Sandy, you mentioned in your talk the length of the supply chain, particularly shipping from Asia, creates a particular challenge. Do you see alternatives such as near sourcing as an emerging trend in the supply chain? Costs and time taking their toll? Are manufacturers looking at returning production closer to where the demand is originating from?
Absolutely. And that's certainly not changing the fact that, a great deal of manufacturing is and will continue to be done in Asia. But you're only as strong as your weakest link. And, if you want to be in business, you have to have an ability to respond. So, it's insurance to have nearer. And, I would go further than that, driven by customer demands. There's even, a greater movement and looking at how to deliver closer to the customers. And, everyone from Walmart, et cetera, is looking at ways to do that. So the answer is absolutely yes.
Great. I have another question lined up for you, Sandy, but I have one that I want to put to Joe. Joe, if you don't mind coming back here. I'm curious about how the increasing expectations coming from customers about being able to communicate with the stores and service providers that they do business with, how that's creating new problems that are still just a bit beyond the boundary of a good sound technology solution available today. What's the next kind of challenge that you're trying to address in the omni-channel communications environment that your company is working in?
Well, there's a couple of areas that present big challenges, as you can imagine. The first is guessing what the next channel might be. So we're seeing consumers demand or looking for other channels. The second piece, so for example, I can anticipate that in a very near future, we're going to be seeing things like video as an option for chatting or for resolving things or resolving technical problems. That's one area. The other area is when you go into a business, the biggest challenge that you have is they have existing systems that are ingrained in part of the business. A lot of our customers have tremendous investment in their back office environment. In many cases, those back office environments are customized because they've been adapted over the years to their business. And the challenge with that has been that the focus, the customer in many of those cases for that back office system have been the internal users in the company, and that information is not accessible or well adapted to providing this for these multiple channels. So working that into the business process is a very big challenge and can take quite a while. It's really omni-channel is more of a journey as opposed to a final endpoint. So you may start small with 1 to 2 channels and grow the number of channels as you improve that experience for your customers over time. And the key is to provide a consistent, delightful experience across all the channels. And if I happen to switch channels as a consumer during that interaction, I need to be just as excellent on the second channel that they choose to communicate with me on as I was on the first. So those are the kinds of things that the customers are facing.
Great. Thank you, Joe. I have another question I want to put to Sandy. Sandy, I'm curious about, you talked about the 3PLs and how they are serving the manufacturing and supply chain processes. I'm curious if you have some thoughts about when manufacturers should use a 3PL versus trying to fulfill their demand themselves, and what do they gain or miss out by outsourcing fulfillment to a third party?
Well, that's a tremendous question. And, there's never one way. So, each company and each business has to first reflect, where they are, what's working and what's not working. I truly believe that we've been in this era for a long time, but, we're in an era of outsourcing. And, what third-party logistics companies do and do well when you have a good partnership is allows you to focus on your core business, and they focus on the things that they do best, which is, receiving and managing inventory, controlling the shipping to your customers. And that's not anything to be minimized, especially now with the new demands and with the Amazon effect. So I would say that, there's tremendous benefit in working with a good third-party logistics company. But it's no different than if you're outsourcing your IT. You still own the process. You still own the service to your customers, and you must look at them as a partner that you work well with and collaborate with, a collaborative partner that adds value to your customers.
That's great. We've run through the time allotted for our presentation today. I want to thank Sandy, Nikki, Bill, and Joe for sharing their insights. And I want to let everybody know that coming up next in HiveMind's Omnichannel webinar series on June 24th at 12 noon Eastern Time, we'll look at what's working in Omnichannel in the age of the customer. How are companies meeting customers anywhere and selling through any device? We really look forward to having you join us for this last webinar in our series. The registration link is on the HiveMind site. Thank you very much for joining us today, and make it a good day.